Mr. Call, can you describe what did you see the police doing at that time?
Ka qenë shumë vështirë dhe
It was very difficult,
mos t'i bija në sy, që mos të vrena nga ana
and
tyre.
I was trying not to be
Ishin
seen.
konstant në lëvizje.
They were always in movement.
Did you hear shooting or did you see fire?
Kam parë flak, do me thonë nga shtëpiat.
I saw
dhe
flames from
poshta
the
kam dëgjuar
houses,
krisma.
and I also
Cilat
heard
ishin- Më
shots,
dukej mu pak më larg.
which seemed to me to be further away.
You said that your neighborhood was deserted. Were there people in the streets as well? At the same time you were leaving?
Jo, përveç policisë jo.
No.
Kam rritur.
Besides the police, I didn't see anybody.
So from your house, where did you go?
Kam shkuar te tegëzja ime, si thash më parë, në
I went
lagjen
to
Gjemal
my
Kada.
aunt, as I said, in the Jemal Kada neighborhood.
How far was your aunt's house from your house?
Ishte rreth 40 minuta.
About
me
40
kam-
minutes on foot.
So during all this 40 minutes was the time when you saw the police moving around.
Po,
Yes.
And did you speak with anybody else while we were in the street with any other villagers?
jo se nuk kam vrejtur, kemi qenë...
No, because I
kam
didn't
qenë
see
unë me familje
anybody.
dhe
I
familjen
was with
Bobi.
my family and with the Borby family.
After you arrived in your aunt's house, were you able to see what was happening from your aunt's house?
Përveç tymit nga
Besides
shtëpiat, jo, asgjë
smoke
tjetër.
from the houses, nothing else.
Did it come a time when you left your aunt's house?
Pas një ore kam
After an
dëgjuar
hour, I
popull
heard
duke ecur aty
people
pranë shtëpisë me një panik të madhe.
on foot
Kam
outside the
dalur jashtë
house
e kam
in
pyetur
great
se çfarë
panic.
është duke ndodhur.
I went out and asked what was
Ata më kanë
happening,
thënë që
and they told
policia
me
dhe
that the
ushtria janë
police
duke u
and
afruar
the
dhe
army
duke
were coming
vrarë, duke
and were killing
digjur shtëpia,
and were
duke
burning
vjedhur kështu me radhë.
houses, looting, and so forth.
So that was the reason why you decided to leave again?
Po se ka qenë të merri
Yes.
madh vetëm kur I shikoja.
Because it was terrible even to look at it.
So where did you go?
Pastaj familja ime dhe
Then
familja Bobi dhe
my
ndosëm që
family
të
and the
ecim në
Borby
këmbë deri
family
tek
decided to walk
qyteti I parë në Maltezi,
to the
Rozhaj.
first town in Montenegro, to Rozhaj.
So what did you see or hear while you were walking?
Kam parë prap për një prezencë të madhe të
Again,
policisë.
I saw a large
të cilat
police
ishin në disa
present
vende,
in several
të cilat
places,
nuk më kanë ndaluar
but
derisa
they
kam
didn't
arritur tek
stop me
udhëheqësit që të shpihen
and
në
didn't
drejtim të malit të
stop
zi.
me until I reached the crossroads for the road to Montenegro.
Did you reach the border to Montenegro?
Jo.
No.
What happened?
Në këtë udhëheqës më ka ndalur policia, do me
The
thonë
police
që
stopped
aty
me
ku 5 apo
at
6
this
të armatosur me uniformë të
crossroads.
njëjtë.
There were 5 or 6 of
Dhe
them
më kanë
in the
thënë që
same
nuk mund të
uniform,
vazhdoj
and they
rrugën.
told me that I couldn't continue on this road.
Did they tell you why?
Nuk më kanë jep kështu ndonjë përgjigje.
No, they didn't
por
give
unë
me a
kam
real
insistuar dhe
answer,
kam
but I
dhënë që
insisted.
kolegët e tij më kanë drejtuar që të shkoj në këtë drejtim.
And I lied to them, saying that their colleagues had told me to go in this direction.
And what did they do?
They were kanë qenë shumë agresiv
They were very
dhe më
aggressive
kanë thënë që duhet të kthehem në
and
qendër
told me
të
that I
Pejës,
had to go back
ku
to
ata
the
kishin
center of
organizuar
Peja,
autobus
where they had
dhe kamionqet
organized
na
buses
largojnë nga
and
Grandi, nga qyteti.
trucks to leave the city.
So did you go back to Peja?
Po jam kthyer në qendër të
Yes,
Pejës.
I went back to the center of Peja.
Did you walk back to Peja?
Kam ecur pak, tani
I
ka
walked
është
for a
ndalur
bit,
një vetur,
and then a
që
car
ka marrur
stopped,
prindrit e mi dhe mu,
which
se
took
ata
me
ishin
and
pak
my
me kujt, nuk
parents,
mund të esnin dhe më kanë dërguar dhe sot e kësaj dite nuk e di se kush është ai person.
and even today, I still don't know who this person was.
So when you arrived in Peja, where did you go?
Kur kemi mbrit në Pej,
When we
afër Hotel Metohis,
arrived
aty
in Peja,
jemi
near
stacionuar,
the
aty kemi ndetur.
Metohia Hotel, we stayed there.
How many people were there?
Ka qenë një masë e madhe.
There was a
domethënë,
great
civil shqiptar,
crowd of Albanian
Praparsisht
civilians,
diku 30.000
about
vetë.
30,000.
So why were you gathered in the center of the town?
Po të gjithë qytetarëve u ishte thënë e njëjta sikur mu që të vijmë aty në qendër dhe që
All
të
the
na
citizenry
dërgojnë
had
policia,
been told the same,
autobusët e
to
kamiona
gather
nga
in the
qyteti.
center where buses and trucks would take them from the city.
What kind of buses and trucks?
Autobuset dhe kamionet kanë qenë civil, do me thonë
They
autobuset
were
ju kanë
civilian
takuar disa
buses and
agjensive
trucks.
turistike private.
They
që
belonged to
shqiptare në
various
Pejat.
Albanian private travel agencies.
Mr. Collin, who told the citizens that the buses and the trucks were coming?
Policia.
The police.
And do you know where the buses and the trucks came from? If they belong to any company?
Dy kompani që më kujtohen kanë
The
qenë
two
njëra ka qenë
companies
Trai Tours dhe
I
tjetra
remember-
Flamengo Tours.
One was Tri Tours and the other was Flamingo Tours.
Who was driving the buses and the trucks?
Vetë policia.
The police themselves.
Do you remember approximately how many buses and trucks?
Besoj aty rreth 8.
I think about 8.
And at that time, were the police present?
Po një numër i madh ka qenë prezant
Yes,
aty.
there was a large number of policemen there.
And what were they doing there?
Ata ishin aty dhe drejtonin
They were there
popullatën
and were
se kush do
directing
hyjë në autobus dhe
the
kush jo.
people who would go into buses and so forth.
Were they telling the people where the buses were going to?
Unë nuk kam dëgjuar, as nuk më ka
I
thënë
didn't
asgjë,
hear
përveç që në
this,
njërin
Nor did I hear
nga
anything
kamionet
of like this,
e
except
kam parë një fletë në të cilën
in one
shkruan
of
te
the
Rozha i
trucks
qyteti
there
i madh të
was
zi.
a piece of paper marked Rojai, which is a town in Montenegro.
Do you remember seeing any police on military vehicles?
Po ka pas polic që
Yes, there were policemen
ende na ndeja me vetura civile,
moving
po ashtu
with
me
civilian cars
autoblind,
and
vetura
also with armored vehicles and
po
police
ashtu edhe
cars.
kanë vretur
But I also
dy
saw
tonqe të mëdha.
Two large
Të ushtrisë.
tanks
Mendoj që janë të
of the
ushtrisë,
army.
kanë
I
qenë të
think they
gjelbër.
were the armies because they were green.
Can I please have the witness shown Exhibit 17? Sir, can you please examine this series of photos and again indicate it if you can identify any of the vehicles that you were referring to?
Do me thonë, tanku ka qenë prafërsisht
The tank
kësaj mallësie.
was about of this size.
You're showing number 6.
Po,
Yes.
How many tanks did you see?
i kam parë dy të cilët kanë ardhur në të njëjtën kohë.
I saw two arriving at the same time.
And did you see any police vehicles?
Po, kam parë
Yes.
autoblinë të kaltër.
I saw blue armored vehicles.
Can you see any similar photo in the series of photos that you have before you?
Prafërsisht kanë qenë kësaj lloji.
They
përveç
were
që kanë
approximately
qenë
of
në
this
ngjyrë të
kind,
kaltër.
but they were blue.
The witness indicated number 10. Thank you. Can you recognize any other vehicles that you saw present in the center of the town?
Përveç kam parë një Mercedes të kuq,
I saw a
në
red
të cilin- i
Mercedes
cili u andej.
which was driving by.
Mr. Colley, can you describe what the citizens were doing at that time in the town, what was happening? They were going into the buses.
Ka qenë një panikë e madhe, ka
There
qenë
was a
frikë.
great panic, fear.
Shembull e marr veten, nëna ime ka qenë pranë meje
My mother
që
was
të më
standing close to
mbrojë
me.
nga
She wanted
shikimi
to
i
protect
policisë.
me from the police staring at me or looking at me.
And did you see other citizens getting into the buses and being driven away?
Po, kam parë.
Yes, I did.
And were the buses coming back to get more people?
Po, pas një 2 orë
Yes,
gjysmë ashtu 3
about
orë.
2 hours and a
kthehen
half or
punë
3
të njëjtit,
hours, the
autobus dhe
same
kamion
buses
që të marrë
and trucks
qytetarë tjerë.
returned to get other citizens.
What happened to you, Mrs. Akale, at that time?
Aty rreth orës 3
At about 3
kanë
o'clock,
ardhur 6 policë
6 policemen
dhe
came
më kanë marrë dhe më kanë dërguar
and
në
they took
hotelin
me
që
to
quhen atë kohë me
a hotel called Metohia then.
What happened in the hotel?
Në hotel kam qenë i maltratuar
They
fizikisht dhe
maltreated me
psikikisht.
physically and psychologically.
Did they beat you?
Po, më kanë rrafur.
Yes, they did beat me.
Where did they beat you?
Më së shumti në shpinë.
Mostly on the back.
Do you know why they were beating you?
Nuk më di arsye.
I don't know why.
Were they saying anything to you?
Po shembull
Yes.
si ku është UÇK-ja
They
tani, ku
asking
është
me
NATO
where is
tani,
KLA, where is
dhe më
NATO
kanë
now,
bërë kështu si pyetje,
and they
po
kept
nëse ta japim
asking
në aty
me
një
questions
plakar
like,
kështu një shej
if we give
kundër
you
NATO-s, a do
an
dilje
insignia against
jashtë
NATO,
në mesin e
slogan
qytetarëve
against
dhe
NATO,
ta
would
mbrojë
you
ata la.
dare go in front of the citizens and hold it up in the air?
What happened to you next?
Kjo ka zgjatur rreth
This
5-6
lasted
orë.
for about 5 or 6 hours.
Masandej kanë
Then
ardhur prapë autobuset dhe
the
kamionet
buses and trucks came
dhe
again,
ka ndodhur diçka jashtë, nuk e di se
and
çfarë.
something happened
Mendoj
outside.
panika në
I
popull
didn't know what.
dhe
Some
këta 6
panic among
policë
the
kanë
people, and
dalur
the 6
nga
policemen left
aty dhe më kanë lënë
the
vetëm.
room and left me alone.
Pas një kohë tepër të shkurt, gjysmë minuti, një minuti,
In
ka
a
ardhur një
minute or
policë
so,
tjetër,
another policeman
më ka
came,
kapur për krahi
and
dhe më
he
ka
seized
futur
me
në
by the
kamion.
arm and dragged me to the truck.
Did you recognize this man?
Këtë policë e kam parë edhe më herët,
I
i
saw
cili
him
mbante
in the
një
past.
çantë
Earlier,
me
he
shrejt
was
të kryqit të
carrying a
kuq në
bag
tën, nuk ka qenë
with
i
the Red
armatosur
Cross sign
dhe
on
më
it.
ka
He was
bërë
not
përshtypje
armed.
se
He impressed me
fliste me
because he
fëmijë që
spoke
ishin
with
prezente.
children who were there in the crowd.
Where did he take you to?
Dhe me thonë më kanë nxjerrë nga hoteli dhe më ka
He took me
futur
out of the
në
hotel
kamion, në
and
njërin
asked me to
prej
get
mjetëve
inside
transportues.
one of the vehicles.
At that time, did you know where your family was?
Po ishte në të njëjtin kamion, në të njëjtin.
My family was
Okay.
in the same truck vehicle with me.
How many people were in the truck?
Rreth 60.
About 60 people.
And where did they take you?
Në këtë kamion po ashtu kanë vrejtur një shej, siç thash më parë, Rozhaje,
I saw a
por
sign
na ka
put on
dërguar
this
deri në
truck,
Prizren.
Rozhaj, but they took us to Prizren.
Do you remember who was driving the bus?
Në atë moment nuk e kam vrejtur,
At that moment, I
por
didn't
kur kemi
see
arritur në
who,
Prizren,
but when
kam
we
parë që
arrived in
ishte
Prizren,
polic.
I saw that he was a policeman.
When you arrived in prison, what did you see?
Kur kemi ardhur në hymjet
When we
të Prizrenit
approached the entrance to
dhe
Prizren
rrugës që të shpije për në
and on the way
Shqipëri,
to Albania,
kam parë prapë
I
prezencë të madhe të
saw a
policisë
large
dhe
police
popullatës civile,
presence and
domethënë shqiptarë.
civilians, Albanians.
Mr. Collett, when you say police, can you identify the uniforms? Can you describe the uniforms if they were wearing one?
Po kam pas
Yes,
uniform të
they were
njëjtë siç e
dressed
kam
in the
përshkruar
same
më parë,
uniform I
domethënë
described
uniform
earlier,
të kaltërt
that is blue,
kamuflazh.
camouflage uniforms.
And what happened?
Në atë moment disa
At
prej
that moment, some of
qytetarëve
the
filluan të ecën në
citizens
drejtim të
began to
Shqipërisë,
walk in the direction of
kurse njëri
Albania.
prej policëve ka
Meanwhile, one of the
bërtitur dhe
policemen
ka thënë që të
shouted,
ndalemi dhe
telling them to
na ka
stop.
thënë se do të vinë
And he
disa
told
autobus
us
tjerë
that
që
some
të na
other buses
dërgojnë afër
are
kufirit me
going
Shqipëri.
to take us closer to the border with Albania.
Do you remember how many people were with you in prison?
Rreth 600, nuk jam i sigurt.
I'm not sure about 600 or 700.
And did more trucks or buses arrive?
Jo, derisa ishim ne
No,
aty, jo.
until we were there, no, I didn't see.
So from prison, where did you go?
Nga Prizreni aty kanë
From
ardhur disa
Prizren,
autobus tjerë të cilët na kanë
Some
dërguar
other buses arrived there,
deri në një
and they
fshat, nuk
took
më
us to
kujtohet
a
emri,
village. I
po
don't
ishte
remember
diku
the
5
name.
kilometra
It
larg
was
Prizrenit.
somewhat 5 kilometers away from Prizren.
And were the buses the same or different buses?
Io cancello autobus tiero.
They were other buses.
And did you see who was driving these buses as well?
Pokačem policije.
Yes, they were policemen.
And do you remember approximately how many buses?
Aty diku 5-6.
About 5 or 6, I think.
Did the police were guiding you to go into the buses, you and the other citizens?
Po ata ishin aty.
The police were there telling us to go into the buses.
So after you got in one of the buses, where did you go?
Do me thonë, pas që kemi hyrë në
After we
autobus,
got
kemi
on the
shkuar deri
bus,
tek ai fshat.
we
Dhe
were
mas
driven
andej
up to the
kemi
village I
ecur në
said
këmbë deri në
earlier,
kufi.
then we walked on foot up to the border.
Mr. Colley, before crossing the border, did you have to show or did you have to give any of your documents?
Po prap policia ishte aty.
Yes, the
do me
policemen
thonë,
were
dhe
there,
nga popullata merrte
and they
dokumente identifikimi,
asked the
sikur
people
letër
to
njoftim,
give them their
pasaport,
IDs and passports they had
apo
on
të
them,
një lloj dokument
or
tjetër,
any
dhe
other
poshtë kanë drejt
identification
që
documents
kanë
they had.
tërhequr tabelat e
And I
regjistrimit nga
saw
veturat.
that they pulled off the license plates from the cars.
Mr. Colley, when you say policemen, can you again describe their uniforms?
Po, kanë qenë të njëjtë, do me
Yes,
thonë
the same
me
uniforms.
uniform të kaltërt
Blue
kamuflazh.
camouflage.
How many policemen did you see at the border?
Aty rreth 15.
About 15.
Did they tell the people why they have to hand over their documents?
Jo.
No, they didn't.
And did they also tell why they were taking out the plates from the vehicles?
Unë nuk kam dëgjuar.
I didn't hear anything.
When did you arrive in Albania?
Do me thonë, në Shqipëri kam arritur
I arrived in
Masaksesh në Kukës, kam
Albania,
arritur
in
në
Kukës to be
29
more
mars.
precise, on the 29th of March.
When did you return to Kosovo?
Në Kosovë s'pari kam ardhur vetëm, aty ka data
I
17,
came
apo
alone.
16 nuk më
I
kujtohet.
don't remember, it was 16
Dhe
or
për ta shikuar se
17,
çfarë ka mbetur nga
to see
shtëpia dhe
what
nga
was
prona ime.
left of our own house or of my job, my property, sorry.
And how did you find your house?
16th or 17th of which month? Please.
Qershor.
Of June.
How did you find your house?
Kulmi ishte i djegur, i kallur,
The top was burned
dhe prona aty ishte e vjedhur.
and everything was looted and raided from my property.
Last question, Mr. Colley. Why did you leave Kosovo and went to Albania?
Prej Kosovës kam ikur se kam pas
I was
frikë, domethënë
obliged to leave
se
Kosovo
si
out of
punëtor i
fear
OSBE-s
because I used to work for the
kena qenë në
OSCE
shenjestër
and we were
të
the
policisë
target
apo
of
ushtrisë.
police and the
Kam pas frikë
military.
që do të vinë në shtëpi
I
dhe
was afraid
diçka e keqe do
that
t'i
something
ndodh
bad might happen to
vetes
my
time dhe familjes.
family and to
Dhe
myself.
You said you worked to the OSCE. What was the role of the OSCE at that time?
do me thonë roli i OSBE-s ka qenë
The
ata kanë qenë
OSCE
bashkues.
played the role of
Kanë
observer
qenë për sigurim në terren.
to ensure a security, a safe environment.
And why do you think you were a target by working to the OSCE?
Po disa herë derisa isha në vetur të
Because
OSBE-s,
When I
cilat
was in the
dalloheshin me
OSCE
ngjyrë të
car,
portokallt,
which had
kemi qenë të
orange color,
sulmuar me gur
we
dhe
often were thrown
nga
stones
populata
at
serbe.
by Serbian civilians.
So, Carl, did you leave because of the NATO bombing?
Jo, nuk jam larguar
No, I
për
did
shkak të
not
bombardimit të
leave
NATO-s
because of NATO
se nuk kam pas
bombing.
për çfarë të frikona.
Because I didn't
Shtëpia ime
have
nuk ishte
any reason to be
afër,
afraid of
stacionit
them. My
policisë
house
apo
was not
barakave të
situated
ushtrisë.
close to the police stations or police barracks.
No further questions.
Mr. Sokoli, we're going to adjourn now for half an hour. Would you be back, please, at 11:30 for further examination? Would you remember in this break and any others there may be in your evidence not to speak to anybody about it until it's over? And that does include members of the prosecution team.
Po i nderuar.
Yes, Your Honor.
11:30.
All rise for the oath of the